Ed, as a producer on this, I mean, how did you get involved with turning this Australian series into a series here? What made you want to be a part of this?
So, all right, you have a little more background than most. That's the Australian show. I happened to see it. I loved it. Hamish and Andy, I think, are brilliant, and I just what I loved was just seeing the human connection in the studio when they're telling these stories and they're listening to the stories. The reenactments are almost like a bonus. They're just this really fun, epic additional layer. And when the opportunity arose to bring it to the States and turn it into a show, it just seemed like Randall Park is the ideal co-host, and it has been as much fun as I hoped. Like, it has just been an absolute blast to make this show.
So in other words, then, Randall, you didn't lose a bet and get forced into this pairing somehow?
Oh, no. I was unfamiliar with the Australian show, but when I got a call from Ed and his team to be a part of it, I watched as many episodes of the Australian version as I could, and I was blown away by, just the heart in a lot of these stories, and so just the thought of being able to sit down with Ed, who I've been a fan of and just loved for so long, to just hang out with him and listen to these incredible stories from all these different people. It just was like such a no-brainer for me. I was like, I'm in.
Since you guys really are in the same room for this, you're sitting in chairs in front of whoever is telling the story. How much thought went into things like what the room would look like, what would be behind you, what the chairs would be, the jackets that you're wearing? I mean, was there a lot of conversation about all of that?
So, yeah, the answer is yes. There was a lot of thought that went into the production design and even our wardrobe on the show, where we wear these velvet blazers. And really the intention was to kind of honor the story and honor the connection that we wanted to build in that space. And so there's it's sort of like a formal setting in a way, but the production design is inviting, like a living room or a library. Like, it just feels like something that a place where you want to sit and hear some stirring narratives. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted it to feel cozy too. And it's about listening for us. Yeah. It's really about kind of getting the juicy bits of these stories out of people.
Yeah, on our blazers, if you look closely, there's like an insignia on the pocket with like an ear design on it. It's just basically because these jackets are listening jackets. We are here to listen and to take what you're sharing, and that kind of formality and that elevating these stories from these just everyday people is it's just this great gift, not just for them but for us.
We hear that a big part of acting is reacting. So, I mean, could you ever have imagined that this is how you would use those acting skills? And what did you take from getting to really experience these stories with these people?
Gosh, I mean, I didn't even look at it as acting.
Exactly. This was, I wouldn't call this, none of my acting muscles were at work here. This was, it's just being in this space with these storytellers. Yeah. And I'm not sure if we made this clear before, but when we sit down with these storytellers, Randall and I have never heard the story. We've never even met the storyteller. So it's all fresh and brand new. And that keeps us on the edge of our seat. It keeps us excited to hear what's next and engaged. And I think that really comes across, like the kind of honesty and spontaneity of the interaction is part of what's so fun about it.
Mm-hmm.
So are you then not having to do retakes either, so that you have to act surprised the third time you hear the same part of the story?
Never.
No. No, it's just literally just sitting down.
No, that they tell the story once.
Yeah.
There may be moments, as we're listening to the story and kind of always digging for more clarity throughout the process. And so what you wind up seeing is actually a very condensed, cut down version because we go on a lot of
we
tangents.
ask a lot of questions. And we asked, for just kind of more clarity and sometimes more to visualize the setting better. Oh, tell us a little bit more about that place, or tell us a little bit more about that person. What do they look like? And so that's just it's questions we'd have.
Maybe we'll release like the unedited versions as a podcast or something. I mean, you can't, like, some of these stories are so rich and detailed and complex in ways that we just didn't have the time to get into in the show. I mean, the what we wound up with is still amazing and fun, but I mean, there's just so many layers to these things.
Yeah.
And I loved another series he recently did, Rutherford Falls. I thought that was also a lot of fun, really unexpected show. What was it like to hear the reaction to that show? And what are you looking forward to about season 2?
Thank you for saying that. I am so proud to be a part of this show, be a part of Rutherford Falls. I've been really overwhelmed by the response to the show. I think we just set out to make something that was really, really funny and also kind of honest about some tricky issues, and we had a ton of fun doing it. I think season 2 is. We're actually shooting season 2 right now. I came from set to be here, and it's bonkers. It's all I can say is go binge season 1 right now, because you're going to want to be all caught up to jump into season 2. It's going to be a blast.
Randall, as someone who worked at a Blockbuster, I am very curious about the series you're doing set at Blockbuster. I mean, what made you want to do that? What can we expect from that? I worked in one of the music stores, not the video side, but I worked at a Blockbuster.
That's right. I never worked at a Blockbuster. I was a member. I had the card, but I did work in a video store out of high school. So I have a lot of fond memories of that time, and I miss going to the Blockbuster and just kind of looking at boxes, these movies and flipping through them. I could spend hours doing that. And so when the project came to me, I read the script, I saw the people involved, and it just seemed like such a fun show to be a part of. So right now we're gearing up to start shooting. We're still casting, and it's all coming together. But I'm very excited.
Well, it seems like for this, there are endless people with endless stories. So are you hoping to do more episodes of this show?
I will be honest with you. I hope that we are doing this show for the next 20 years. Yeah. I love this show so much. And it's so fun. I mean, it's really kind of like, it's barely work.
Yeah.
Like Randall and I get to just show up and sit down with these amazing, hilarious, or, poignant or people and just get into some really fun stuff.
Yeah, there's no better gig. There's no better. It's just I also hope it keeps going. I mean, just there's so many stories, as we've learned just from shooting this first season, there's just so many stories, and even people who are the most unassuming people, you sit them on that couch and they start telling their story, and it's just you're just in it. You're just in it, and they become the most fascinating people. And so there's an endless well of really great stories, because we all have those wild stories from experiences and things to share. And so I just would just love to hear more, to keep hearing more.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, but it feels like the living embodiment of truth is stranger than fiction, and that you should never judge a book by its cover, because
Right.
both things seem true with both of the episodes that I saw.
Yeah. I think to Randall's point, like we all have these stories, and that's why when people make themselves vulnerable enough to share them, there's such a strong connection there. And I like, we felt connected to each and every storyteller. I think audiences will also feel that connection and laugh and cry and, just be excited with each story. It's a ton of fun.
Yeah, I love just having the reaction. I mean, I kept saying like, no way, that can't happen, or oh my God, I can't believe, it's just you keep wanting to talk to the screen. So I thought it was really fun.
Oh, great.
Awesome.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate you talking to me about it. It was delightful. So
thank
I'm
you
so
so
glad.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.